Chapter 1. Campus Favorite Blood Sport. If I die before graduation, I want the cause of death listed correctly. Rivalry-induced stress, courtesy of Eric Westwood, certified campus menace. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Eric literally wants me dead. No, that would be too merciful. Eric wants me to suffer. Academically, physically, socially, and yes, romantically. If there's a competition, you can bet Eric's smug, annoyingly handsome face is right there, just waiting to one-up me. Take last semester. I won the literature prize. Eric won the science medal. I finally scored the winning point in basketball. Eric dunked over me in the very next game and had the crowd chanting his name like he was a demigod. I got asked out by someone cute. Eric suddenly appeared with 2 dates on his arms, smiling like a devil fresh from recruitment day. It's exhausting. And the worst part? The student body loves it. Apparently, our rivalry is entertainment. We're the campus favorite reality show, a weekly episode of Who Will Win This Time. Students place bets. Professors chuckle when we argue in class. Even the janitor once sighed and said, "Boys, just kiss already." Disrespectful. Anyway, today was supposed to be a peaceful day. Supposed to be. I had my notes, my coffee, my determination to ignore Eric for at least 24 hours. But of course, fate hates me. Because as soon as I sat down in economics, the seat beside me screeched back. And guess who plopped into it? "You're in my light, Anderson," Eric said, tossing his bag onto the desk like he owned the air itself. I blinked at him. "Your light." Yes, my brilliance requires adequate illumination. He leaned back, crossing his arms, smirking like he'd just invented gravity. This man. Tell me, Westwood, do you wake up every morning and think, how can I make Sam's blood pressure rise today? Or is it just a natural talent? I said sweetly, "I don't think about you at all, you're not worth the mental space." He said, "Whatever." The professor started class, and I forced myself to focus, scribbling notes like a good, hard-working student. Eric, on the other hand, leaned casually in his chair, tapping his pen against the desk, occasionally glancing at me with the kind of look that said, "You'll never escape me, mortal." When the professor asked a question about market equilibrium, I raised my hand first. Victory. Demand decreases when I began, but Eric's hand shot up like a rocket. Actually, when analyzing demand, you have to account for consumer expectations as well. Anderson only gave a partial answer. He cut in, his voice slick. "Partial? Partial." The professor nodded. "Good point, Westwood." I glared daggers. Eric smirked. The rest of class went like that. Me trying to answer, Eric swooping in like a hawk stealing prey. By the end, I was ready to stab my pen into his very expensive-looking leather shoes. When the bell rang, I stuffed my notes into my bag. You know, some of us actually study instead of free-riding on natural talent. Natural talent? Don't be jealous, Anderson. Some of us are just built different. He drawled. "Yeah, built like an ass." He chuckled, low and annoyingly attractive. "Careful. People might think you're obsessed with my ass if you keep bringing it up." I nearly choked on my own saliva. "You!" Before I could form a retort, someone walked by and called, "Sam!" "Eric, you two having another lover's quarrel?" I turned red. Eric didn't even blink. He just waved dismissively and said, "He wishes. He wishes." I snapped back automatically, but the crowd had already moved on, giggling. I sighed. Same circus, different day. After class, I headed to the cafeteria, needing food therapy. My friends waved me over, and just as I sat down with my tray, bam, Eric appeared again, sliding into the opposite seat like some villain making his grand entrance. "Is there no God?" I muttered. "Relax. I'm not here for you. I'm here for the chicken Alfredo," he said. "Then why are you sitting directly across from me?" "Because watching you squirm is better than Netflix." I stabbed my fork into my pasta with lethal intent. My friend Claire leaned in, whispering loudly, "You two really should get a room." "I will jump off this table," I hissed. But the worst part? Eric didn't deny it. He just gave his trademark half-smirk. twirling his fork like he was orchestrating my downfall. And maybe, just maybe, for half a second, when the sunlight hit his hair and his stupid smug face, I noticed why people swooned over him. Tall, broad-shouldered, annoyingly handsome, I immediately shoved that thought into a mental shredder. This is war, not attraction. War. Later that day, during basketball practice, my doom struck again. I just scored a clean three-pointer when Eric, of course he was on the opposing team, sprinted down the court and slammed a dunk so powerful the crowd roared. He winked at me. Try to keep up, Anderson. Oh, I'll keep up. I'll bury you in points. I snapped, charging down the court. I did not bury him. He buried me. Literally. I tripped, landed flat on the court, and Eric leaned over, smirking. You okay down there? I groaned. One day, Westwood. One day I'll win. His eyes glinted, sharp and unreadable. I'll be waiting. And for some reason, the way he said it didn't feel like mockery. Felt like a promise. Chapter 2. Voices in my head, courtesy of Satan. There are moments in life when you know you've crossed into uncharted territory. Like the first time you realize you're in love. Or when you hear your arch-rival's voice in your head, saying something he would never say out loud. Yeah. That last one. It all started in economics class. Again. Because apparently the universe thinks that's where I should suffer. I was still traumatized from yesterday's Eric steals my spotlight routine. But today, I came armed. 3 pens, highlighters, enough coffee to make my blood 80% caffeine, and sheer determination. Morning, Anderson. Came the smooth, smug voice of the devil himself. I stiffened. Westwood, don't you have anywhere else to sit? Not really. This seat has the best view. I scoffed. The board's in the front. Exactly. What did that even? Never mind. I wasn't taking the bait. Class started. I forced my focus onto supply and demand graphs, ignoring Eric's very existence. Until it happened. Professor, can anyone explain the concept of opportunity cost? My hand shot up. When you choose one option, the cost is the benefits you could have gotten from the alternative. Professor, good. I smirked. Take that, Eric. And then I heard it. A voice. Right next to me. But not out loud. More like it was inside my head. His voice is kind of nice when he explains things. Clear. Confident. Cute even. I froze. What the hell? I turned slowly toward Eric. He was sitting there. Expression perfectly smug, pen spinning in his hand like always. But he hadn't said anything. Out loud. Too bad he always has to ruin it by smirking like an idiot. The voice continued. Still, my Sammy's doing well today. My Sammy. I choked. On air. Mr. Anderson, are you all right? The professor asked. Yes. I wheezed, pounding my chest. Eric arched a brow. Clumsy as always. But inside my head, clear as day, I heard, don't hurt yourself, dummy. I need you alive. My pen slipped from my fingers. No. This wasn't real. Maybe the coffee was expired. Maybe I'd finally snapped from prolonged exposure to Eric's face. That had to be it. For the rest of class, I was a wreck. Every time Eric looked at me, my brain buzzed with his real voice. You're pouting. God, that's cute. Stop biting your pen. I want to. No. Don't think that in class. If anyone else stares at him today, I swear I'll. By the time the bell rang, my soul had left my body at least 3 times. I stormed into the hallway, muttering to myself. Nope. I am not hearing Westwood's inner monologue. That's insane. I need sleep. Or an exorcism. Talking to yourself, Anderson? I spun around. Eric was strolling behind me, hands in pockets, smirk firmly in place. Out loud, he said, shouldn't surprise me. You always did look unhinged. But in my head, God, he looks adorable when he's flustered. Did his ears just turn pink? Stop being cute. I tripped over my own foot. Eric caught my arm before I face-planted. Careful, he drawled. In my head, if you got hurt, I'd never forgive myself. I yanked my arm back like he burned me. Don't touch me. He raised an eyebrow. You're welcome, by the way. Inner Eric. Why does he have to be so dramatic? Still, his skin was warm. I wanted to scream. The rest of the day was torture. In the cafeteria, he sat across from me again. I was halfway through my sandwich when, why is he so cute when he chews? Like a little chipmunk. My chipmunk. I spat crumbs across the table. Disgusting? Eric said out loud, sliding a napkin over. Inner Eric. Don't choke. Don't choke. Please don't choke. I wiped my mouth. Stop staring at me. He smirked. Why? Feeling self-conscious. Inner Eric. Of course you're self-conscious. You're adorable. I kicked the table so hard my knee bruised. By basketball practice, I was convinced I had officially gone insane. We were split into opposing teams again. Perfect. Eric was guarding me. Worse, every time we clashed, my head was filled with nonsense. Don't push too hard, Sammy might fall. Look at him running. Graceful. Like a gazelle. My gazelle. God. I want to kiss him. Wait. Focus. Basketball. Not kissing. I missed the shot entirely. Eric stole the ball, dunked, and smirked at me. You're losing your touch. Inner Eric. I hate beating him when he looks sad. But God, he's still hot when he's mad. I threw my hands up. Why me, God? Why me? The coach blew the whistle. Anderson. Focus. 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 I was hearing my enemy call me his gazelle in surround sound stereo. Focus was impossible. After practice, I collapsed onto the bleachers, drenched in sweat and despair. Eric plopped down beside me like he owned the spot. Don't sit here, I groaned. Relax. I'm not here for you. Inner Eric. Of course I'm here for you. Where else would I be? I buried my face in my towel. I'm cursed. Eric tilted his head, smirk as infuriating as ever. You've finally lost it, haven't you? Inner Eric. If only I could tell him. If only he'd actually believe me. My breath caught. For a second, I forgot to be angry. His inside voice sounded different, softer, sad even. I peeked at him from under my towel. His usual mask was there, arrogant, untouchable. But now I knew there was another Eric under that, whispering thoughts he'd never dare say. And maybe that was the scariest part of all. Because for the first time in my life, I wasn't sure if I wanted to win this rivalry. Chapter 3. The Kiss That Shook the Court. There are 3 things you should know about me. I am a decent basketball player. Not amazing. Not terrible. Decent. I take pride in at least trying to beat Eric whenever I can. I never, in my wildest nightmares, thought my first kiss with Eric Westwood would happen because of sweaty men, a bouncing ball, and gravity being a jerk. Practice started normal enough. Coach had us doing drills, and Eric was already showing off, dunking with one hand like the hoop was personally beneath him. Every time the crowd, yes, we always had a crowd, mostly girls giggling and guys making bets, cheered. His smirk grew half an inch. Me? I was determined. Today I was going to shut him down. Ready to lose again, Anderson? He drawled as we lined up for scrimmage. Out loud, cocky as ever. But in my head, don't push yourself too hard, Sammy. You've been tired lately. Take it easy. I scowled. I'm going to wipe that smug look off your face. Inner Eric. He's so cute when he's angry. Like a wet cat. I nearly dropped the ball. Wet cat. The game kicked off. I stole the ball early, adrenaline pumping. The crowd actually cheered for me for once. I sprinted down the court, Eric hot on my heels. Don't miss, Anderson, he taunted. Inner Eric. Yes, score. I'll cheer the loudest. Show them how amazing you are. I almost tripped just from the whiplash. Focus, I muttered, launching the ball. Swish. Perfect 3-pointer. Until Eric got the ball next possession. He dribbled, faked left, spun right, and I swear physics bent to make him look good. Then slam dunk. The gym exploded. He landed, winked at me, sweat dripping like he was filming a commercial. Try harder, Sammy, he said out loud. Inner Eric. God. I hope he doesn't notice my hands are shaking. Why does just looking at him make my chest hurt? I forgot how to breathe. Fourth quarter. Tie game. Ball in my hands. Victory was within reach. I charged, Eric blocking my path like a wall built of arrogance and biceps. Move, I snapped. Make me, he shot back. Inner Eric. Don't fall, don't get hurt. I'll catch you if you do. My stomach flipped. I faked left, darted right, but Eric lunged. Our feet tangled. Suddenly, I was weightless. The ball flew. My arms pinwheeled. Gravity said, "Goodbye, loser." And then, impact. Not with the floor, with Eric. We slammed chest to chest, momentum toppling us to the ground. My head smacked his shoulder, and oh God, our mouths collided. The gym went silent, dead silent. Time slowed. Eric's lips were warm, softer than they had any right to be. My eyes flew open to see his staring right back at me, wide and startled. Out loud, he made a muffled noise of protest. But inside my head, oh my God, I'm kissing him. He's kissing me. This is happening. Stay cool. No, screw cool. I'm never washing my mouth again. His lips taste like Gatorade? Who cares? It's perfect. I wanted to die. Anderson and Westwood just kissed. Someone screamed. The gym erupted. Half the crowd was shrieking, the other half howling with laughter. Phones whipped out faster than bullets. I scrambled back, face redder than a tomato on steroids. It was an accident. Disgusting, Eric spat, wiping his mouth with his jersey. Inner Eric, best moment of my life. Replay it 1,000 times. Put it in slow motion. My Sammy's lips are softer than clouds. I nearly screamed. Coach, tell them it was nothing. I yelled. Coach just pinched his nose. Boys, you're trending already. I wanted to crawl into a hole. After practice, I cornered Eric in the locker room, still fuming. You ruined my life. I shouted. He raised an eyebrow, shirt half off, abs glistening. No, brain, don't you dare. How did I ruin your life? You fell on me. Inner Eric, please say it wasn't awful. Please. If he says he hated it, I'll die. But if he liked it, oh God. What if he liked it? I pointed at him, shaking. You, we. My brain short-circuited. Out loud. He smirked. Cat got your tongue? Inner Eric. Wish it was still my tongue. I dropped my towel, shrieked, and stormed out before my heart exploded. That night, lying in bed, I replayed it against my will. The stumble, the fall, the lips, the crowd gasping, and worst of all, Eric's inner voice, screaming like a fangirl at a boy band concert. I groaned into my pillow. It should have been horrifying. It was horrifying. So why did my chest ache like? Maybe, just maybe, I didn't hate it? Chapter 4. Silence in the library, my ass. You know what's sacred? Libraries. You walk in, there's that holy hush, that smell of paper and dust, that illusion that you're smarter just by breathing the same air as books older than your parents' marriage. And then Eric Westwood walks in, and suddenly the library becomes a battlefield. I had one goal that afternoon. Finish my paper on comparative economic models. Simple, straightforward. I grabbed the last copy of the book I needed, plopped into a corner, and sighed in relief. Finally, peace, until a shadow loomed over me. Really, Anderson? You took the only copy. I looked up, and there he was, the devil in designer jeans. Yes, I said sweetly, hugging the book to my chest. Survival of the fittest. He leaned down way too close, smirk curling like a villain in a soap opera. Then let's test your survival skills. And he yanked the book. I yanked back. Hands off. Don't be selfish. It's called first come, first served. Look it up. Inner Eric. God. He looks adorable when he's pouting. His cheeks. I want to pinch them. No. Focus. Eric, you're supposed to look mean. I froze, nearly losing grip on the book from laughing. What the hell is wrong with you? What? He narrowed his eyes. Nothing, I muttered quickly, clutching tighter. The librarian hissed, "Quiet!" We both bowed our heads like scolded schoolboys, then resumed tug-of-war, but more stealthily. It became a silent wrestling match. My knuckles were white, his grip iron. Our faces were inches apart, both of us glaring daggers. "This is childish," I whispered. "Then let go." "Never. Inner Eric. Never. I'd never let go of you. Even if it's childish, even if it's stupid." God, his face is so close. His lips. "Stop. Stop. Do not kiss him in the library." I almost let go just from the sheer chaos in my brain. But then, he pulled. I pulled harder. Physics intervened. The book slipped, our balance failed, and next thing I knew, Eric and I were collapsing into the narrow aisle between shelves. I landed on top of him, lips first. There was a beat of silence. Our mouths touched again, warm, shocking, and for the second time in 2 weeks, I questioned every life choice I had ever made. My eyes flew open. His eyes were already open, staring at me like I'd just rewritten the laws of his universe. Inner Eric. Oh God, oh God, oh God, round two, this is real, this is. Why does he taste like coffee this time? Better than before. Someone stop me before I lose my mind. I ripped back like I'd been electrocuted. It was the book. The damn book. I whisper shouted. Eric coughed, sitting up, trying to look composed while his ears burned red. Disgusting. You have no sense of boundaries. Inner Eric. If anyone ever takes this memory from me, I'll murder them. Twice. Then frame it and hang it on my wall. I buried my face in my hands. And because humiliation loves company, guess who walked by right at that moment? Claire. My friend. My nosy, gleeful friend. She froze, blinked, then grinned like Christmas came early. "Oh, my God. It's not what it looks like," I yelped, scrambling to my feet. "Really? Because it looked like you two were making out over macroeconomic models," she said innocently. I wanted the ground to open up and swallow me. Eric stood, brushing himself off with a casual shrug. "Don't flatter yourself, Anderson." Inner Eric. "Flatter yourself, Sammy. You should. You're the only one I'd ever... Ugh. Why can't I say this out loud?" I threw the book at him. He caught it, smirked, and walked off like he hadn't just stolen my dignity. Later that night, I couldn't concentrate on my paper. My brain was stuck on a loop. The fall. The kiss. Eric's inner voice screaming like he was front row at a boy band concert. And the worst part? I didn't hate it. I kept replaying it, analyzing every millisecond. The way his eyes widened in surprise. The way his inner voice contradicted his cold expression. The way he, God help me, tasted better than he had during basketball practice. What was happening to me? This isn't love. This is torture. Stockholm Syndrome. Prolonged exposure to arrogance. I told myself, but deep down I knew something had shifted, and I was terrified of where it might lead. Chapter 5. The cafeteria is not a war zone. There are certain places where a man should feel safe. His dorm room, the bathroom, and definitely the cafeteria, because if food isn't sacred, then what is? So you can imagine my mood when my peaceful lunch of spaghetti and garlic bread got ruined by, you guessed it, Eric Westwood. I was mid-bite, savoring the bliss of carbs, when a tray slammed down across from me. "Move," Eric said, sliding into the seat. I glared, fork still in my mouth. "Why? This is my spot." I raised an eyebrow. "Your spot? Since when did you claim cafeteria real estate? Do you have a deed? Did you plant a flag here?" "Since now," he said smoothly, twirling his fork in his pasta like he was auditioning for a food commercial. Inner Eric. God, he eats so cutely, like a hamster stuffing his cheeks. I want to pinch them. No, I want to kiss them. Wait, stop. Calm down. Play it cool. I froze. "Hamster, what's wrong with your face?" Eric asked, eyebrow cocked. "Nothing," I snapped, stabbing my spaghetti harder than necessary. Claire plopped down next to me, grinning like she had popcorn ready. "Oh, good. My favorite drama duo." I groaned. "Why do people act like we're a Netflix show?" Because you are. Last week you trended on campus Twitter after that basketball kiss, she said cheerfully. I choked. Don't call it that. Eric smirked. Accident. Completely meaningless. Inner Eric. Completely meaningful. Completely perfect. I think about it every night before bed. God. I'm pathetic. I nearly inhaled a noodle the wrong way. To make matters worse, halfway through lunch, another guy, some sophomore I vaguely knew, walked over and slid into the seat beside me. Hey Sam, I saved you a brownie. Thought you'd like it, he said, smiling. Oh, thanks. I blinked down at the neatly wrapped brownie he set on my tray. Inner Eric. Who is this punk? Why is he giving my Sammy food? Does he think he can feed him? No, I feed him. I bit back a laugh, coughing instead. Out loud, Eric scoffed. Wow, Anderson. Begging for snacks now? Pathetic. I bristled. I wasn't begging. He offered. Exactly, why waste perfectly good dessert on him? You couldn't do better? Eric said, eyes narrowing at Brownie Boy. Inner Eric. Yes, do better. Do me instead. No, wait. What am I thinking? I almost choked on my garlic bread. Brownie Boy looked confused. It's just a brownie, man. Eric leaned back, folding his arms. He doesn't deserve it. Inner Eric. He deserves everything. He deserves the world. He deserves me, damn it. I pressed my napkin to my face to hide my grin. Claire leaned in, whispering, why do I feel like Eric's jealous? Jealous. I squeaked, too loud. Half the table turned to stare. Don't flatter yourself, Eric said instantly, cool as ice. Inner Eric. Please never stop thinking I'm jealous, because I am. I'm dying. I slammed my hands on the table. I'm going to the drink station, and fled. Of course, Eric followed, because my life is suffering. What's wrong with you? He asked, cornering me by the soda fountain. You're what's wrong with me. Me? I'm just eating lunch. Inner Eric. I'm just falling in love, is what I'm doing. God, he's so dramatic. Why is he so cute when he's dramatic? I pressed my hands to my ears. Stop. 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 Stop what? Eric asked, confused. Existing. Inner Eric. Please don't ever stop looking at me. I turned, slammed my cup under the soda dispenser, and promptly sprayed Diet Coke all over my shirt because the universe hates me. Back at the table, Brownie Boy was still there, chatting with Claire. Eric slid into his seat again, expression smug but eyes sharp. Brownie Boy nudged the brownie closer to me. Seriously, take it, Sam. It's yours. I hesitated. Eric's voice in my head was practically screaming, don't take it. Don't you dare. If you eat another man's brownie aisle. I picked up the brownie, slowly, deliberately, then bit into it. Eric's eyes widened, but outwardly he sneered. Wow, eating charity food. Desperate much. Inner Eric. That should have been me feeding him. I could have baked for him. Okay, I can't bake, but I'd learn for him. Sammy, why are you doing this to me? I chewed slowly, locking eyes with him, enjoying every tortured thought that hit my brain. Claire whispered, oh my God, you are enjoying this. I swallowed and smirked. Delicious. Eric's fork snapped in half. Lunch ended with me barely holding in my laughter and Eric storming out, ears bright red. That night, though, when I replayed it in bed, the humor dulled just enough to let something else creep in. Because behind all the ridiculous jealous screaming, Eric's inner voice had cracked. There was fear in it, longing, the kind of things he'd never admit out loud. And I realized something terrifying. I wasn't just laughing at him anymore. I was listening. Chapter 6. Date Night Disaster. The problem with agreeing to a date you don't really want? The universe will punish you. Case in point, Friday night. I was at Luigi's Pizzeria with Jenna, a nice girl from my economics class who laughed at my jokes and had the prettiest dimples. On paper, perfect. In practice, my brain was elsewhere, because across the restaurant, at a booth too close for comfort, sat Eric Westwood with another girl. Of course. Sam? You spaced out. Jenna tilted her head. Sorry, I was just thinking about pizza toppings, I said quickly, tearing my eyes away from Eric's stupidly perfect jawline. She laughed. You're so random. And then, like fate hated me, Eric's voice rang out across the dining room. Well, Anderson, didn't think anyone would voluntarily be seen with you in public, he drawled, smirking from his booth. I forced a smile. Nice to see you too, Westwood. Inner Eric. Who is Isachi? Why is she looking at him like that? Did she just touch his hand? She better back off. He's mine, no, not mine, but mine. I nearly spit out my soda. Jenna blinked. Do you two know each other? Unfortunately, I muttered. Eric's date, a leggy blonde, leaned closer to him. Sam's your rival, right? The one you always complain about. Rival? Hardly. More like entertainment. Eric scoffed. Inner Eric. He's everything. My only competition, my only equal, the only one who makes my heart race. God. Why do I say the opposite out loud? I almost choked on a breadstick. And then, I had an idea. Terrible, petty, brilliant idea. Jenna, try a bite of my pizza. It's amazing, I said sweetly, leaning closer. She smiled and leaned in as I held out the slice. Out of the corner of my eye, Eric stiffened. Inner Eric. What is this? Why is he feeding her? That's illegal. I'll know, stay calm. Breathe. But if she licks the cheese off his fingers, I swear. I deliberately brushed Jenna's fingers as she took the bite. Eric's fork clattered onto his plate. Clumsy, Westwood? I called innocently. He sneered. Just disgusted at the PDA. Pathetic. Inner Eric. No, don't kiss her. Don't. So of course, to test him, I kissed her. Just a quick peck. Nothing major. But enough to make Eric's jaw tighten from across the room. Out loud, he scoffed. Wow. Desperate. Does she know you're terrible at kissing? Inner Eric. Liar. He's amazing at kissing. I know too well. Stop remembering, stop. My eyes widened. Heat rushed up my neck. Did he just... Oh God. Jenna blinked at me. Why is he staring like that? I coughed. Ignore him. He's constipated. The rest of the meal devolved into an unspoken battle. Every time I laughed at Jenna's jokes, Eric would suddenly lean closer to his date, whispering something that made her giggle, though his eyes never left me. Every time Eric's hand brushed his date's, his inner voice screamed, This means nothing. She means nothing. Why isn't he looking at me? Look at me, Sam. I could barely keep a straight face. Then came dessert. Want to share a sundae? Jenna asked brightly. Sure, I said. Out of the corner of my eye, Eric ordered the exact same thing for his table. Coincidence? I think not. We both got sundaes at the same time. Both clinked spoons. Both fed our dates a bite. Eric's smirk was smug, like he was winning some invisible game. Inner Eric. This is war. But also, I wish it was him eating from my spoon. Damn it. Focus. I, being the petty gremlin I am, leaned over and kissed whipped cream off Jenna's cheek. Eric dropped his spoon entirely. The restaurant went quiet for a beat. Then Eric stood, excused himself stiffly, and stalked off toward the bathroom. Inner Eric, fading as he left. I can't watch this. Why does it hurt? Why does it feel like like I'm losing him? And for the first time, the jealousy wasn't funny. It was raw. Cracked something in my chest. Jenna smiled at me, oblivious. You okay? You look pale. Yeah, just too much sugar, I said quickly, forcing a grin. But inside, I was replaying every word of his inner voice. Because Eric Westwood, arrogant, smug, untouchable Eric was jealous. Not just petty jealous. Not just rivalry jealous. Heart-aching, terrified, desperate jealous. And the realization made me feel like the ground was shifting under my feet. Later, when we left the restaurant, I spotted him leaning against the wall outside, hands shoved in his pockets, face unreadable. Enjoy your date, Anderson? He called. I rolled my eyes. Jealous much? Of her? Please. He snorted. Inner Eric. Of her, yes. Of every second she got with you tonight. Of every smile that wasn't mine. I swallowed hard. See you around Westwood? I muttered, tugging Jenna's hand as we walked away. But his voice lingered in my head long after. And for the first time, I wasn't laughing. Chapter 7. Library of Screams and Feelings. There are exactly 3 rules I live by when it comes to Eric Westwood. Avoid him whenever possible. If avoidance fails, mock him until he storms off. Never, ever let him see that I care. So naturally, the professor paired us together for the midterm project. Partners, Professor Lane had said, handing out the assignment sheet like he wasn't unleashing hell upon the earth. Eric smirked at me from across the room. Looks like you're stuck with me, Anderson. Inner Eric. Yes, partnered. Finally, an excuse to spend time with him. Stay cool. Don't look too happy. His actual face? Utter disdain. His inner voice? A golden retriever wagging its tail. Which is how I ended up in the library on Saturday afternoon, watching Eric stack textbooks with surgical precision while I balanced a pencil on my upper lip. You're useless, he said flatly. I'm creative. It's called brainstorming. I corrected. It's called wasting time. Inner Eric. He's so cute when he's trying to act unserious. Look at him balancing that pencil. Adorable. I want to flick it off and kiss him instead. The pencil dropped, clattering on the desk. I nearly fell out of my chair. What's wrong with you? Eric asked, suspicious. Nothing, I squeaked. We tried to study. Really. But it's hard to focus when your rival is glaring at you across the table like he's plotting your murder, while his inner voice is basically writing you love sonnets. Read the chapter summary, Eric ordered. You read the chapter summary. I shot back. Why am I doing all the work? Inner Eric. Because I don't want him to stress. He works so hard already. I'll do it for him. I'd do anything for him. I stared at him. He stared back. What? He snapped. Nothing, I said quickly, flipping my book open upside down just to look busy. Half an hour later, Eric pinched the bridge of his nose. I don't understand how your brain functions. Like a Ferrari? Fast, loud, sexy. I said. Like a tricycle with a flat tire. Inner Eric. Like the most fascinating, infuriating, wonderful brain I've ever met. God. I could listen to him ramble all day. I nearly barked out a laugh. A tricycle? Really? That's the best you've got. Don't test me, Anderson. Test you? That's literally the point of this project. His jaw ticked. Mine smirked. And then came the moment of doom. I reached for the same textbook he did. Our hands brushed. Electricity shot up my arm. I yelped, jerking back like I'd touched a live wire. Relax, Eric said, rolling his eyes. Inner Eric. Oh my God. His hand is so warm. Do it again. Please. No, don't. I can't handle it. But yes, do it again. My ears burned. You relax. Smooth, Sam. Real smooth. We tried again. And by tried, I mean I doodled in my notebook while Eric actually did the math problems. At least pretend you're contributing, he muttered. I leaned over, scribbling something. There. Contribution. He glanced at the paper. I had drawn a caricature of him with devil horns. Really mature, he deadpanned. Inner Eric. He drew me. He was looking at me. Even if it's stupid, he noticed me. I'll treasure this forever. I slapped my notebook shut before I started blushing. By the time we'd been in the library for 2 hours, I was stir-crazy. So I leaned back in my chair, stretching with a loud groan. Are you dying? Eric asked, not looking up from his notes. Yes, of boredom. Write that in your precious notebook. Inner Eric. If he dies of boredom, I'll die too. He can't leave me. Not yet. Not ever. The chair legs wobbled. I flailed. And then, because physics hates me, I toppled backward, chair and all. The crash echoed through the library. Everyone turned. Eric's face appeared above me, unimpressed. Idiot. Inner Eric. My Sammy. Are you hurt? Do I need to carry you to the nurse? Should I kiss it better? Oh my God, he's so clumsy. I love him so much. I wheezed, half laughing, half mortified. Don't just stand there. Help me up. He grabbed my arm and hauled me upright. His grip was firm, steady. My heart thudded in my chest. We ended up working until the library closed. On the walk out, Eric carried half the books without asking. You didn't have to. I started. Shut up, he muttered. Inner Eric. I'd carry the whole world for you. I stumbled over a crack in the sidewalk. Not because of the crack. Because of him. Because of me. Because of us. Back in my dorm that night, I replayed every word. The insults. The sighs. The thoughts he didn't know I could hear. It was supposed to be funny, this whole inner monologue thing. Comedy show for one. But now it felt like I was standing on the edge of something deeper. And the scariest part was that a piece of me wanted to fall. Chapter 8. Sweat, screams, and slippery floors. There are two kinds of people on college sports day. The overachievers who treat it like the Olympics. Me. Guess which one Eric is. I was stretching lazily by the field when he strutted past, tossing a basketball from one hand to the other like some Greek god auditioning for a Nike ad. His hair was annoyingly perfect despite the humidity. His smirk was insufferable, and his shorts were criminally unfair. Try not to humiliate yourself today, Anderson, he said, not even glancing at me. Worried about me? I shot back. Inner Eric. Of course I'm worried. Don't you dare twist your ankle again. If you fall, I'll catch you. Always. Oh, he looks so good in that jersey. I'm doomed. I blinked, then deliberately tied my shoelaces into the ugliest knot possible just to spite him. The game itself? Chaos. Eric was MVP as usual, sinking baskets like gravity didn't apply to him. I, meanwhile, got hit in the face with the ball twice and tripped over my own feet once. Seriously. Eric snapped after I collided with him for the third time. Hey, it's called defense, I said from the floor. You're defending the air. Inner Eric. He's so clumsy, my idiot. Don't laugh. Don't kiss him. God. I want to kiss him. My face burned hotter than the sun. By the time the game ended, Eric was drenched in sweat, hair plastered to his forehead, jersey sticking to his chest in ways that should be illegal. I refused to look, which of course meant I looked constantly. We trudged into the locker room. The air was thick with steam and body spray. I peeled off my jersey, only to hear a sharp intake of breath. I turned. Eric was staring. He quickly sneered. Wow, chicken arms. Inner Eric. Beautiful. Gorgeous. I want to trace every inch. Don't stare too long. Stop drooling. Control yourself, idiot. I yanked my towel higher. Flustered. Pervert. What? You wish. His ears went pink. Inner Eric. I do. I really, really do. And then, because God has a sense of humor, the shower area flooded. A busted pipe sent water gushing across the floor like Niagara Falls. Watch your step, Eric warned, right before I slipped on the tile and crashed straight into him. We tumbled in a heap, his arm locked around my waist, my face buried in his chest. The locker room went silent, then erupted into wolf whistles. Get a room, someone shouted. I scrambled up, mortified. This is your fault. How is it my fault you're made of butter? He snapped. Inner Eric. Stay down. Please. Just for a second. Let me hold you. God, you fit perfectly. Why can't I say it out loud? My knees nearly gave out again. We tried to shower off separately, but the universe wasn't done humiliating me. The hot water ran out halfway through. I yelped as icy water blasted me. Across the stalls, Eric chuckled. Cold, Anderson? Shut up before I dump shampoo in your eyes. Inner Eric. He looked so vulnerable, shivering under the water. I want to wrap him in a towel, in my arms, in everything. God. I'm hopeless. I smacked my head against the wall to stop myself from laughing or crying. I wasn't sure anymore. Afterward, while everyone else left, Eric lingered, toweling his hair. It was just us, the smell of soap, and my heart thudding like a war drum. You were terrible out there, he said lightly. Thanks, Captain Obvious. But you tried. He hesitated. For once, Eric Westwood, master of arrogance, looked almost shy. Inner Eric, and I'm proud of you, and I love you, and I'd cheer for you even if you never scored a point in your life. I froze. He snapped his towel at me. Stop staring. You stop staring. I wasn't. Inner Eric. I was. Always. Only him. We left the locker room side by side. For once, no insults, no jeers. Just quiet. And in that quiet, I realized something terrifying. Hearing his thoughts used to be funny. A secret weapon. A way to mess with him. Now it felt like privilege. Like I was being handed pieces of him he'd never show the world. Soft, raw, unguarded pieces. And those pieces, they were breaking me. Later that night, lying in bed, I replayed the moment I fell against him. The warmth of his chest. The way his arm had tightened, almost protective. The desperation in his unspoken words. Scared me, thrilled me, and worse, it made me want more. Chapter 9. The Shelf of Doom. There are 3 things I hate about the campus library. The chairs are older than my grandmother. The air conditioner is permanently stuck on Arctic death. Eric Westwood exists inside it. We were supposed to be working together on research again. In reality, Eric sat across from me with his perfect posture, his perfect notes, his perfect everything, while I used my laptop to watch funny cat videos under the table. You're pathetic, he muttered without looking up. You're uptight, I shot back. Inner Eric. God. Even his laugh at that dumb video is cute. I'd let him distract me forever. Why is he like this? Why do I want him like this? I choked on my water. Again. Second time this week. My poor keyboard was going to drown before midterms. Are you broken? Eric asked, finally glancing at me. Yes, and it's your fault. He frowned. My existence cannot possibly be responsible for your stupidity. Inner Eric. If he dies, I die. If he hurts, I'll fix it. Please stop coughing. Sammy. My heart can't take it. Stop calling me that. I snapped out loud before I could stop myself. Eric blinked. What? Nothing. Mind your own business. Of course, the universe decided this wasn't humiliating enough. While trying to find an obscure book for our project, I climbed one of those rickety rolling ladders in the back stacks. Naturally, it squeaked like a dying whale and nearly bucked me off. Careful. Gravity has a vendetta against you, Eric said, standing below with his arms crossed. Shut up. I've got this. Inner Eric. No, you don't. You're seconds away from falling and I'm seconds away from catching you like some bad romance movie. Please don't fall. Or maybe fall just a little. I wobbled dangerously. He swore under his breath and grabbed the ladder steady. Relax, I'm a pro. I grinned down. The book I tugged at? Stuck. Of course. I yanked harder. The ladder shifted. I screeched. The next 5 seconds happened in slow motion. The book flew off the shelf. I lost my balance. Eric lunged. And somehow we ended up crashing together in the narrow aisle, me pinned against the shelf, him pressed flush against me. And our lips touched. Time stopped. His eyes widened. Mine did too. The kiss wasn't deep. Just the lightest brush, an accident, a collision of bad coordination and worse luck. But my brain short-circuited anyway. Eric froze, inches from me, his breath ragged. Out loud, he hissed. You absolute idiot. Inner Eric. Oh my God. I kissed him. I kissed Sam. His lips are soft. I want to do it again. I want to do it properly. Please, please, let me do it again. I made a strangled noise that could only be described as dying walrus. We scrambled apart like the shelf had electrocuted us. My heart was doing the cha-cha in my chest. You! I started. You fell, he snapped. Inner Eric. I'm lying. I leaned in too. God, I'm so weak for him. If he kisses me again, I won't stop this time. My ears turned red. Don't flatter yourself. It wasn't a kiss, it was facial CPR. Facial CPR? He glared like I'd invented a new crime. Yes, you accidentally resuscitated my dignity with your lips. Congratulations. A vein popped in his forehead. You're insufferable. Inner Eric, you're perfect. The problem? The aisle was too narrow for both of us to leave at the same time. I tried to squeeze past him, but he moved the same way, and we ended up chest to chest again. Move, I hissed. You move. No, you. Inner Eric. Stay. Just stay. I don't care if we're stuck here forever. Stay with me. I swallowed hard. My joke died in my throat. For the first time, I didn't want to laugh. I wanted to stay too. Of course, the library gods weren't merciful. A librarian appeared at the end of the row, glaring. Keep it down, she whispered like a vengeful ghost. Yes, ma'am, I squeaked, trying to hide behind Eric's shoulder. He smirked, scared. Shut up before I scream, make out, and run. His jaw clenched. Inner Eric, do it, please. I wouldn't even deny it. I'd kiss you right here in front of everyone if you let me. My knees went weak. We finally escaped the Isle of Doom, books in hand, dignity in shambles. Back at the table, neither of us could look at the other. So, that was nothing, Eric muttered after a long silence. Right, nothing. Absolutely nothing. Forgettable, I said quickly. Inner Eric, unforgettable. The best accident of my life. I'll replay it 1,000 times tonight. God, I'm ruined. I buried my face in my laptop, pretending to type. My fingers shook. If that was nothing, then why did it feel like everything? That night, lying in bed, I replayed the accident over and over. The brush of his lips, his inner voice begging for more. And for the first time, I wondered, what if I wanted more too? Chapter 10. Whispers between the stacks. The problem with losing a bet is that Eric Westwood always knows how to collect. And of course, the bet in question was over who would ace our last history paper. Spoiler alert, I lost by half a grade. Half grade. Which is why, instead of watching Netflix in my bed, I found myself trudging into the library at 9 p.m. sharp, where Eric sat waiting with a smug look that screamed, "Bow before me, loser." "There you are, I was beginning to think you'd chicken out," he said, leaning back in his chair like a villain on his throne. I should have. What kind of sadist makes his rival tutor him after already winning? I muttered, dropping into the chair across from him. It's not tutoring, it's endurance training. I want to see how long you can survive in my presence. He corrected, smirking. Inner Eric, I just want more time with you. Every excuse counts. Don't run away. Please. I nearly swallowed my own tongue. We cracked open our laptops. For the first 20 minutes, I actually tried to focus. Keyword, tried. Eric, on the other hand, kept finding new ways to irritate me. He tapped his pen against the desk. Tap, tap, tap. He sighed every 5 minutes. He whispered insults like, "You type like an old man, and your hair looks like a rejected mop. Do you ever shut up?" I hissed. "Not when you're around," he shot back. Inner Eric, because silence means I'd have to think about how much I want to touch you. And that's worse. I slammed my book shut. You're unbelievable. He grinned. Thank you. Hours crawled by. The library emptied, leaving only the faint hum of the air conditioner and the glow of desk lamps. I fought off yawns, glaring at my notes. You're drooping, Eric said. No, I'm not. I lied, even as my head nearly smacked the desk. Pathetic. Inner Eric. Cute. Adorable. Precious. I want to cradle his stupid sleepy head. I stiffened. Don't say weird things like that. He frowned. I didn't say anything. Right? Forgot. My bad. You only think weird things. At some point, Eric leaned back, arms folded, pretending to study. I stole a glance. His lashes were ridiculously long. His jawline could probably cut diamonds. His chest rose and fell in slow rhythm as his eyes started to droop. Was Eric Westwood falling asleep? I blinked, and then, before I could decide whether to mock him or let him rest, his head lolled to the side, landing squarely on my shoulder. Westwood, I whispered. No response. Hey, You're heavy and sweaty and inner Eric, warm, safe, feels like home. Don't move away. Just a little longer. My throat went dry. My brain short-circuited. I froze, staring down at his face. His usual arrogant sneer was gone. His mouth was relaxed, lips parted slightly. He looked human, gentle, and I loved. How my heart clenched at the sight. 5 minutes turned into 10. I should have shoved him off, but I didn't. Instead, I sat there, motionless, my shoulder going numb, my thoughts tangled like headphone wires. And then, because the universe enjoys torturing me, Eric mumbled in his sleep. Sam. I went still. Mine. My brain error. System failure. I nearly jumped out of my chair. Did Eric Westwood just claim me in his dreams? Inner Eric, dreamlike, don't leave me. Stay. Please stay. I bit my lip so hard it hurt. I wanted to laugh, cry, scream, all at once. Instead, I whispered, "You're insane, Westwood." But I didn't push him away. Eventually, the librarian announced closing time. I shook Eric's shoulder. Wake up, sleeping beauty. Library's shutting down. He blinked awake, groggy, hair adorably mussed. Huh? Did I? You drooled on my shirt. I lied. He scowled instantly. I did not. You totally did. Inner Eric. Don't let him see how much I liked leaning on him. Don't let him know. I grinned. Relax. I'll sell it on eBay. Die, Anderson. We walked out into the cool night air, shoulders brushing accidentally. Neither of us moved away. You're still annoying, Eric muttered. You're still insufferable. I shot back. Inner Eric. And you're still everything. Mine. Always. My chest tightened, a dangerous warmth spreading inside me, and for the first time I wasn't sure I wanted to fight it. Chapter 11. Sleepover Sabotage. If you had told me a week ago that I'd willingly let Eric Westwood fall asleep on my shoulder, I would have laughed in your face, choked on my soda, and maybe slapped you for good measure. But after last night's library incident, let's just say I was curious. Okay, fine. I was obsessing. Replay button on repeat. His head on my shoulder. The way he'd murmured my name. The word mine. So when he suggested we continue studying at his dorm tonight, I should have said no. Should have said, go torture someone else, Westwood. Instead, I showed up. Because apparently I hate myself. His dorm room was exactly what you'd expect. Neat, expensive smelling, everything arranged like it belonged in a catalog. And then there was him, sitting cross-legged on his bed in a black hoodie, glaring at me like I was late to a duel. Took you long enough, he said. You said 7. It's literally 7:02. Punctuality matters. Bite me. Inner Eric. Glad you came. He always comes when it's me. I nearly tripped on the rug. We set up our laptops. But studying quickly derailed into us arguing about who was the bigger academic fraud. You cheated last week, I accused. He raised a brow. Define cheated. Breathing near the professor and getting an extension. Inner Eric. If I could breathe on Sam and get him to forgive me for everything, I'd do it forever. I froze, then burst out laughing. What? What does that even mean? What? Eric snapped, eyes narrowing. Nothing. Keep breathing, champ. He scowled, utterly lost, which made it even funnier. By 10 p.m., thunder rattled the windows. Of course, because the universe thrives on irony. Storm's getting bad, I said. Eric shrugged. Stay then, unless you want to walk back and get fried. Ah, concerned about me? I teased. He rolled his eyes. No, just don't want your charred remains haunting me. Inner Eric. I'd carry him through the rain if I had to. Idiot would probably trip over his own feet. My stomach flipped, so I stayed, which meant one bed. Where am I supposed to sleep? I asked. Floor, Eric said instantly. Excuse me? You lost the bet. You get the floor. Inner Eric. Stay in my bed, please. Don't leave me alone tonight. I grinned slowly. You know what? The floor looks cold, and I bruise easily. So, scoot over, Westwood. he choked. Like hell. Move, or I'm climbing in anyway. 5 minutes later, I was under his stupid expensive blanket, both of us lying rigid as corpses. It was quiet, too quiet, so I decided to stir the pot. Hey, Westwood. What? Be honest. If you could date anyone in our class, who would it be? None of them. Not even me? Silence. Inner Eric. You. Always you. Only you. God. Don't ask me this, Sammy. I smirked in the dark. So, that's a no? He shifted violently. Go to sleep, Anderson. I bit back laughter. But the real chaos started when the thunder boomed again, and Eric flinched. Barely, but enough for me to notice. I blinked. Wait, don't tell me. You're scared of storms. I'm not. Another crack of thunder. He stiffened. I grinned wickedly. Oh my God. Eric Westwood, the campus tyrant, is afraid of the big bad thunder. Shut up. Inner Eric. If he hugs me right now, I'll melt. Please hug me. Please. I paused. Then, very slowly, I leaned closer and whispered, Want me to hold your hand, tough guy? He shoved me with a pillow. Die. Somewhere between the laughter, the storm, and the pillow fight that followed, our faces ended up way too close, like noses almost touching close. I froze. He froze. Thunder rolled outside, but all I could hear was his breathing. Inner Eric, kiss me. Please kiss me. I won't stop you. I'll never stop you. My heart slammed against my ribs. I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. Finally, I cleared my throat and rolled away, clutching the blanket like a shield. Good night. Good night, he muttered. Inner Eric, coward. Beautiful, precious coward. One day, I'll kiss you first. I bit my lip, staring into the dark, heat rushing to my face. And for the first time, I wasn't sure I wanted to wait for one day. Chapter 12, Cracks in the Mask. If you'd ever seen a statue, you'd have understood Eric Westwood. Perfect, polished, cold, probably sculpted by the devil himself to torment me personally. But the thing about statues, they cracked. And that night, I swore I heard the first fracture. It started in the common room. I wasn't supposed to be there. It was exam season, and I avoided actual studying the way vampires avoided sunlight. But my laptop had decided to commit seppuku. So, I was stuck scribbling notes the old-fashioned way when he appeared. Of course, Eric freaking Westwood. He dropped his books down next to mine like it was destiny. What are you doing here, Anderson? Did you get lost on your way to the cafeteria? Very funny. Not all of us pay nerds to do our notes, I muttered. He smirked. Who said I pay them? They do it willingly. I rolled my eyes. Of course, because you're the crown prince of academia. Long live King Jerkface. Outer Eric? Same as ever. Arrogant, smug, dripping with disdain. But inner Eric? He looks tired. Is he eating enough? God, what if he gets sick? What if he finds someone who actually takes care of him? Someone better than me? Damn it, stop thinking like that. My pen froze mid-sentence. Wait, rewind. Did Eric Westwood just have an insecurity thought? I tried to play it cool. So, you're not worried I'll dethrone you? Beat your precious grades. I asked. He snorted. Please. You could barely add fractions in freshman year. Inner Eric. What if he does surpass me? What if he doesn't need me to compete with anymore? If he leaves, I won't have a reason to know. Don't think it. Don't say it. My brain short-circuited. Did he just admit he needed me? I started laughing loud, way too loud for a library. Heads turned. Eric scowled. What's your problem now? Nothing. Just, you're more dramatic in your head than on stage. I wheezed. He narrowed his eyes like he suspected I knew something, which, to be fair, I did. The Real hit came later. We left the library at the same time, because apparently fate liked messing with me. Outside, under the flickering lampposts, I was rambling about how finals were going to kill me when Eric interrupted. You talk too much, he muttered. Yeah? Well, you glare too much. I shot back. But then his thoughts again. If he knew how much I loved hearing him talk. If he knew how empty it felt when he wasn't around. God, what if he figured it out and pulled away? I couldn't stand that. My chest tightened. Westwood, you okay? I asked. He raised an eyebrow. Obviously. But I heard it. No, I'm not okay. I'm terrified. Terrified you'll choose someone else, and I'll be left with nothing. I swallowed hard. I should have teased him. That's what I always did. Crack a joke. Call him names. Keep the rivalry burning. But instead, the words slipped out before I could stop them. You know, you don't always have to pretend. I said softly. He stared at me, startled. What the hell does that mean? Nothing. Forget I said anything. I blurted, shoving my hands in my pockets. The silence stretched between us as we walked back to the dorms. For once, Eric didn't insult me. He didn't smirk. He didn't say a damn word. But his thoughts? If only I could. If only I could tell you everything. But if I do, you'll laugh. You'll hate me. Better you think I'm arrogant than pathetic. And me? I was stuck between wanting to laugh it off and wanting to hug him, which was insane. Hugging Eric Westwood was like hugging a cactus. Painful, stupid, probably fatal. But I couldn't unhear it, couldn't unfeel it. That crack in the mask? It was there. And now that I'd seen it, I couldn't stop wondering what was underneath. Chapter 13, Fight and Confession Attempt. There were moments in life that stuck forever. First kisses. First heartbreaks. The time you realized Taco Bell at 2 a.m. was a bad idea. And then there was this moment. The time Eric Westwood nearly confessed his undying love to me and managed to make it sound like he was insulting me. It started outside the gym. I just finished basketball practice. As known as watching my dignity die in front of 30 classmates when I tripped over my shoelaces and face planted. Don't ask. Just know it was tragic. I was sweaty, cranky, and ready for a gallon of Gatorade when Eric swooped in. Nice performance. Were you trying to mop the floor with your face? He sneered, leaning casually against the wall. Ha ha. Don't you have, I don't know, world domination plans to attend to? I grumbled, wiping my forehead with my shirt. He shrugged. Already penciled in for Tuesday. Classic Eric. Sharp tongue, deadpan delivery, perfect hair that somehow didn't get sweaty. If he hadn't been my nemesis, I would have admired him. Actually, scratch that, because he was my nemesis, I admired him way too much and it drove me insane. But then it happened. The moment. He glanced around like he was making sure no one was listening. Then he said, almost too casually, "You're not the worst." I blinked. Wow. Be still, my beating heart. Did you just recite Shakespeare? Don't get used to it, he snapped. His jaw clenched, and his eyes darted away. And then, oh boy, his thoughts hit me like a freight train. I'm in love with you, you idiot. Please, please just choose me. Say something that makes it easier for me to tell you the truth. I nearly choked on my water. My brain short-circuited. I stared at him, waiting for him to just say it out loud. But no, of course not. I slammed my water bottle shut. You've got to be kidding me. He frowned. What now? You're, ugh. Why can't you just say what you actually feel? I threw my hands up. His eyes widened. What are you talking about? You know exactly what I'm talking about. My voice cracked in frustration. 1 second you're calling me a loser. The next second, I stopped, biting my tongue before I accidentally blurted out that I could hear his inner monologues of love confessions. He crossed his arms. The next second, what? I glared at him, my chest tight. The next second you act like I actually matter to you, and then you ruin it. Every damn time. The air between us turned sharp. The usual background noise, students walking past, sneakers squeaking, felt muted. For once, Eric looked rattled. His perfect mask cracked, just slightly. His thoughts screamed, because if I say it, you'll laugh at me. Because if I say it, you'll run away. Because if I say it, I'll lose the only person who makes me feel alive. And I wanted to cry, laugh, throw him into a locker and kiss him senseless. Maybe all three at once. But instead, I snapped, "You're such a coward, Westwood." His eyes flashed. Better a coward than a fool. That stung. More than I wanted to admit. We were standing so close then. I could feel his breath. My heart was pounding, not from practice but from him. Always him. Fine, if you want to keep hiding behind your stupid mask, go ahead. Just don't drag me into your circus of mixed signals anymore. I said bitterly. Mixed signals? He scoffed, but his voice wavered. They're not mixed. They're all for you. They've always been for you. I bit down on my tongue so hard it hurt. Forget it, I muttered, shoving past him. He grabbed my wrist. Firm, desperate. But when I turned to face him, his lips parted like he was about to finally say it. And what came out? Don't be late to class tomorrow. I yanked my hand back like I'd been burned. You're unbelievable. We didn't speak again as we walked in opposite directions. But his thoughts echoed in my head all night. Please don't give up on me, Sammy. And mine echoed back, just as loud. Then why can't you just admit it? Chapter 14, The Slip. Ever watched a bomb about to explode in slow motion? That was exactly what it felt like. Standing in the middle of the library lobby with Eric Westwood glaring at me like I just kicked his dog. For the record, I hadn't kicked his dog. I didn't even think he had a dog. If he did, it would probably have been a Doberman named Taxes or something equally terrifying. Anyway, the bomb was us, and the timer had just hit 0. It started with me trying to ignore him. Really, I swore. I was sitting at a table, quietly minding my business, a rare occurrence, I know, when he dropped into the chair across from me like a thundercloud in human form. You're avoiding me? He asked. I looked up from my laptop. Congratulations, Sherlock. Want a medal? He narrowed his eyes. I'm serious. So was I. I'd even print you one on gold paper. His jaw ticked. Why are you always like this? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because every time I think you might actually be human, you go and remind me you're a malfunctioning robot programmed to insult me. That got him. His cheeks flushed, and I could practically see the steam coming out of his ears. But instead of snapping back with the usual sarcasm, he leaned forward, voice low. Do you have any idea how frustrating you are? I blinked. You're frustrating. No, you're frustrating. I pointed at him, furious. You walked around acting like you didn't care, like you were above everything, but then I stopped myself just in time. Couldn't exactly scream. Then you confess your undying love in your head but not your mouth. Without being carted off to a psych ward. His fists clenched on the table. You don't get it. Oh, I get it plenty. You like playing games, Eric. Push me, pull me, confuse me, make me think I'm insane. Congratulations, you win. My voice was louder now, echoing across the lobby. People were starting to stare. And then, the slip. I'm in love with you, you idiot. Silence. Pure, heavy silence. My ears rang. My brain stopped. My soul briefly left my body to do a victory lap before slamming back in. I stared at him, jaw practically on the floor. What? He froze like he'd just realized he'd stepped off a cliff. His eyes went wide. His mouth opened and closed like a fish. That was not. I didn't mean. His face went crimson. Oh my God. My entire chest tightened. Every embarrassing, ridiculous, sappy inner thought I'd been tortured with those past weeks. They were real, not hallucinations, not my imagination. Real. You actually. My voice cracked like a teenager's. His thoughts were screaming. Abort mission. Run. Hide. Dig a hole. Maybe fake my death. And me? I started laughing. Not the cute, soft kind. The ugly, bent over, tear streaming kind. He slammed his hands on the table. This isn't funny. Yes, it is. You, Mr. Perfect, Mr. Untouchable, just shouted, I'm in love with you, you idiot, at top volume in the library. I wheezed, clutching my stomach. Students nearby were whispering, giggling, pulling out their phones. Eric looked like he wanted the earth to swallow him whole. But then, the laughter died, because I looked at him, really looked, and behind the mortification he wasn't joking. He wasn't posturing. He was raw, terrified, and very, very real. You mean it, I whispered. His throat bobbed as he swallowed hard. Yeah. The air went heavy again. My pulse was hammering. I couldn't think, couldn't breathe. All I knew was that he was looking at me like I was the only person in the universe, and suddenly, it didn't feel so crazy. I leaned forward without realizing. He mirrored me just a little, and for once, no masks, no insults, no stupid bravado. Just us. And then, I kissed him. It wasn't an accident this time. No slipping on a floor, no tripping into his chest. I kissed him because I wanted to. His lips were warm, hesitant at first, then urgent, like he'd been holding himself back for years and finally let go. My hands were shaking. His were clenched tight on the table like if he touched me, he might break me. When we finally pulled back, my face was burning. His too. Well, guess you really are in love with me, huh? I croaked, trying for humor. He groaned, hiding his face in his hands. Kill me now. But his thoughts were a different story. Best moment ever. And I couldn't stop grinning like an idiot. For the first time in forever, Eric's mask had slipped completely, and I didn't want him to put it back on. Chapter 15, Rivals in Love. So apparently I now have a boyfriend. Yes, Eric Westwood. Mr. Tall, dark, and arrogant. The bane of my college existence. The guy who once told me, with a straight face, that my essay looked like it had been written by a caffeinated raccoon. That Eric. And here was the kicker. He wasn't just my boyfriend, he was the worst boyfriend. Oh, don't get me wrong. In public, he was still the same smirking menace, insulting me at every opportunity, trying to one-up me in literally everything, from test scores to how many push-ups we could do in gym. But in private, he was, Sammy, you haven't texted me for 2 hours. Do you not love me anymore? He whined from my bed, draped dramatically across it like a fainting Victorian lady. I rolled my eyes so hard I thought they might detach. We were literally in class together, Eric. That was different. I need constant affection or I'll die. He flopped onto his stomach, muffling his voice in my pillow. You're so needy. His muffled groan. I'm your needy. And the worst part? He wasn't wrong. The dual life we were living was a sitcom waiting to happen. By day, bitter rivals. By night, cuddling idiots. He'd call me pathetic in front of everyone. Then 5 minutes later, his inner voice would whisper, pathetic, adorable, perfect Sammy, I love you, marry me. Do you know how hard it was not to laugh when the supposed king of insults was basically writing wedding vows in his head while glaring at me? Nearly impossible. Case in point, we were at the cafeteria with our group of friends. Eric sat across from me, arms folded, face set in his usual haughty scowl. Sam's so slow, he drawled, loud enough for the table to hear. I'm surprised he even manages to keep up in class. Must be exhausting for you, hmm? I smirked, stabbing a fry with my fork. At least I don't spend every night staring in the mirror rehearsing insults. The table burst into laughter. Eric rolled his eyes, but I caught it. The faintest twitch at the corner of his lips. And then his inner thoughts hit me like a truck. Look at him. Even when he's mad, he's gorgeous. My beloved Sammy. My sunshine. My eternal rival, I nearly choked on the fry. Problem, Sam? Eric asked sweetly. Nope. Just, remembered something funny. I said, coughing into my fist. Something funny. Like my boyfriend basically writing Shakespearean sonnets in his skull while calling me slow to my face. Of course, Eric didn't stop there. He never stopped. Honestly, I think Sam should feel honored I even acknowledge him. He tilted his chin up like a smug prince. Meanwhile, kiss me right now. Please, please. Kiss me so hard my brain stops working. I smirked. Oh, you poor arrogant fool. You thought I wasn't going to use this? So I leaned back casually, sipping my soda. Oh, totally. It's an honor to be insulted by Eric Westwood. I'll frame your next burn and hang it on my wall. The table snickered. Eric just smirked wider. His inner voice, though, frame me instead. Put me on your wall. Chain me to your bed. I'm yours, Sammy, all yours. I almost spat soda all over the table. And that was when I decided I'd had enough. because hiding was fun. Teasing him was fun. But I could see it under all the dramatic arrogance. He wanted more. He wanted us real, not just in the shadows. And honestly, so did I. So when he leaned back in his chair, smirk in place, and announced loudly, "Sam's really just average, isn't he?" Can't imagine anyone actually finding him attractive. I stood up, walked right around the table, grabbed the collar of his stupid perfect shirt, and kissed him, right there, in front of everyone. This is the second time I kissed him intentionally in public, 'cause last time, when I kissed him at library, it wasn't convinced enough. So this time I'll mark my territory. The cafeteria went dead silent. Forks froze mid-air. Drinks stopped halfway to lips. Somewhere, a freshman dropped their entire tray. Eric froze for half a second. Then his hands shot up, gripping my waist like he'd been waiting his whole life for this moment. His inner voice was practically screaming. "Oh my God! Public kiss. He loves me. This is happening. Dreams do come true. Take that, world." When I finally pulled back, Eric was flushed, breathless, and wide-eyed. I grinned. "Still think I'm average?" He blinked, brain visibly short-circuiting. Then he smiled, his real one this time, soft at the edges. "Average at most things, but kissing? Definitely above average," he said smoothly. The cafeteria erupted. Shouts, cheers, gasps, someone screaming, "I knew it!" at the top of their lungs. Eric leaned close, his lips brushing my ear. His voice a low purr only I could hear. "Mine," he whispered, and for once his mouth and his thoughts matched perfectly.